bitter people who've had a hard life in the past, and then we insert that business into our relationship.
I could do that again.
Oh, what I'm saying. Oh, Lord Jesus.
Peace and light, everybody. Welcome to episode 3 of the Lost and Found Translation. We are your hosts. I'm Queen Shay, and this is...
My name is Brother Mali. This is the first financial Lost and Found Translation podcast because of the fact that finances always seem to play a part in many of the breakups of relationships. So this is the Lost and Found Translation financial edition. Let's go. So, Miss Queen Shay.
Shall I start with the first situation?
Read the thing, please. Beg you do.
Okay. So, this is coming from the subreddit, Am I the Asshole? And it reads, Am I the asshole for refusing to let my boyfriend have my bank account information to make purchases?
Yes. Go.
I, female 31, have been with my boyfriend, male 37, for 8 months. He has 3 kids and he's a single dad. We're on pretty good terms regarding almost everything. When it comes to money and spending, we take turns and invite each other out weekly. We don't live together, obviously. Several times he had me pay for his kids' purchases. I don't make a big deal out of it because the sole reason that those purchases are relatively small, and all I have to pay was $30 to $60. The other day he called me while I was at work and sounded like he was in a hurry. He said he just found the gaming device he's been looking for so long and wanted to buy it for his oldest son. I asked him, what did this have to do with me? And he told me that he was short on money and needed $300. He asked me to lend him $300, and I hesitated, but agreed. He asked for my bank account information so he could pull the money, but I refused and told him to wait until I get there. He insisted, saying that he'd handle it. All I had to do was just send him back my bank account information after I ended the call with him. His insistence made me uncomfortable, so I still said no and told him to either wait or I won't pay. He got mad at me, saying that he didn't get why I was acting like this. He got so loud, and I hung up. I found him sitting outside when I went home. He was waiting on me and was extremely upset. He asked why I didn't just send him the account information so I could pull the money we agreed on. I have my personal information, especially when it comes to finances. He got offended and said, I'm not just anybody. I'm your effing partner. Then went on a rant about how he ended up not paying the gaming device. Okay, I knew I was reading that right. He ended up not paying the gaming device after looking for it for so long. Now his kid is mad at me, and it's my fault. We had a fight. Then he left and told me I better have an apology for him and his son next time I call his phone. I haven't called yet, but I feel like I acted stupidly and irrationally. I think I should have just given him the information that he asked for. I don't know if I made the right decision. Am I the asshole?
Okay. So here's what I'm thinking. First of all, I think it's all cap. Just off the top, I'm going to say that. Because I don't know what it's like in America. But, so you can confirm this with me. Can I just take your bank account details and then withdraw money from your account? Now, maybe I could take your credit card number and buy something online. That I could do, yeah.
Yeah, you could do that.
Or your debit card number. But to say your bank account number, I'm like, that sounds to me like there's some level of misinformation, shall we say. Malinformation, shall we say, about that. I think it's nonsense. But just as on the assumption that this is all factual, as she's written it, I think that after 8 months, you've got to keep a level of separation in your financial dealings.
Mm.
You cannot be like so blasé about your financial situation. You're just like, yeah, just take what you want. It's fine. No. You've got to like, manage yourself, look after yourself. He has to manage himself, look after himself, and the two of you come together as whole beings, helping each other through this world. Don't be just giving out your information to your partner of 8 epic months. No. I think she did the right thing.
I think that she did the right thing too. And plus, it's $300. Like, I've come up short, I need an extra $50. I come up short, do you have $100 until payday? Not, I need $300 and I'll pay you back. Pay you back when? Like, who got $300 for a gaming system? And just the way that he acted, that's a real suspect. Like, the one time...
He sounds like a crackhead. Carry on.
Yo, it does sound like a drug seeker, doesn't it? Because the one time she tells him, nah, she didn't say no. She just said, wait for me. She didn't say, okay, I'm not willing to help you. She just said, I'm not going to give you carte blanche to my bank account information. My banking information. You can wait for me. And if you can't wait for me, then it's just going to have to be another time. But the fact that he started yelling at her, that he got loud, and then was like really waiting outside her house for the confrontation when she got off work. No, buddy, that's a problem. And you better have an apology waiting for me and my son. That's very much giving this is offending me and my girlfriends. Like,
You see, what we see here, this is not a conversation about money. This is a conversation between two crackheads. And we're talking about...
How is she the crackhead?
That's what it's called. Am I the crackhead? This is what it says, right?
No, it's not am I the crackhead, am I the asshole?
No, but look. You've got crackhead 1 who needs to go and buy his crack. So he says, just give me $300. I'm your effing partner of all of 8 months.
All of 8 months.
So now you must give me.
Not to mention that she's already been paying $30 here, $60 here.
Yeah. He's tired of those little 8 balls. He wants something decent. He wants a nice chunk.
And I want access to your account in order to get it. So it's not like, can I borrow $300 and you give me the $300? Nah, bro. I need you to give me the number so that in the future, when I need it, I'm just gonna
ask you.
I ain't gotta ask you. It's just gonna come up missing. You're like, where's that? Oh, well, I needed it for little Johnny's basketball, tournament. I needed this for, to get Susie Q's hair done. I needed this for whatever. And because we're partners, they don't even live together.
No.
See, so this isn't like, okay, well, we're taking it out of the household money that you're contributing to. And it sounds like she makes more than he does. And he's just trying to find ways to benefit.
For people who are in a relationship, right? And I mean, it doesn't actually matter where your relationship is, whether you've been together 1 month or 10 years, okay? Like, if you're bringing in money into the household, manage your money. Now, you might have a joint account where you take money from your account and put it into the joint account, and then the two of you can do your household business from that. Fine. But you've got to have like 100% trust in your partner. Both ways. Men have to trust their women and women have to trust their men. Both ways. 100% to be like, yeah, take what you want whenever you need it, and we'll figure it out. But until that point, if there's any inkling of doubt, hold on to your things. Hold on to your money. Hold on to your account details.
Okay.
Is that all right?
Yeah, that's good. So you kind of touched on something that we're going to talk about in the next scenario. But this one, yikes. The next one, I know we probably aren't going to agree on 100%. And that's okay. I just need you to know that I'm on your team, okay?
All right. I don't believe you, but okay.
All right. Listen. We'll work through it.
Let's read it to you and then we'll see. We'll see, shall we?
All right, babes. So let's go to the next scenario, shall we? Am I the asshole for not giving my husband my escape money when I saw that we were financially struggling? I, 34 female, have recently run into a situation with my husband, 37 male, and I'm curious about if I'm the asshole here or not. So me and my husband have been together for 8 years. Why does 8 keep coming up? Me and my husband have been together for 8 years, married for 7. When I got married, my mother came to me privately and talked about setting aside money as a rainy day / escape fund if worse came to worse. My husband has never showed any signs of being dangerous and rarely, if ever, gets upset. But the way my mother talked about it, it seems like a no-brainer to have. When me and my husband got together, we agreed that I would be a stay-at-home wife. We were both child-free, so that was never a concern. My husband made a comfortable mid-6-figure salary. All was good until about 2 years ago, he was injured at work in a near-fatal accident. Between the hospital bills and the lawsuit that we lost that ate up nearly all of our savings, I took a part-time job while he was recovering. But when he fully recovered, we transitioned back into me being unemployed as my husband insisted that it was his role to provide. He's currently working 2 full-time jobs and Ubers on his day off to keep us afloat. Here's where I may be the asshole. I do all the expense management and I have continued to put money into my escape account, although I significantly decreased from $750 a month to just $200 a month. My husband came home exhausted one night and asked about downsizing because the stress of work was killing him. I told him that downsizing would not be an option as I've had to spend years making our house a home and offered to go back to work. He tried to be nice, but basically told me that me going back to work wouldn't make enough. After an argument, my husband went through our finances to see where we could cut back. He was confused when he saw that I had regularly occurring withdrawals leading back years and asked me about it. I broke down and revealed my money to him, which now sits at about $47,000. After I told him all this, he just broke down sobbing. His point of view is that I treated him like a predator and hid money from him for years, even when he was at his lowest. I told him that the money was a precaution I would have had taken with any partner and not specific to him. He left the house to stay with his brother and said that I hurt him on every possible level. But my mom says this is exactly what the money is for. And I should bail now. Am I the asshole?
You want to go first?
Nah, I want to hear what you got to say.
All right, okay. I think the mum is the asshole, first of all.
That the mother is the asshole?
Yeah. I think the mum is the asshole. You see, your mum has obviously had some issues in her life and in her baby before her. Her mum's got issues, and her mum is giving the daughter bad advice. And the thing is, it's like, generally it's a good idea to keep money aside in case of a rainy day. But this is a rainy day, and what you're doing is, instead of doing that, you're like, actually what I'd rather have is have husband to work 2 full-time jobs and do Uber on his time off. Like, he's not resting. He is at his wit's end. And you still are keeping money aside and doing the rainy day thing. And when you tell your mum, look, your advice was no good, she's like, no, this is the reason why I told you why. Why I told you to steal from that man. Like, you can't have a relationship where the two of you are in a partnership where he is looking out for the two of you. He's working to provide the home for the two of you. He's working to provide the groceries for the two of you. And then what you do is steal from him for your own rainy day fund So your own FU money for when, on the chance that he's going to do something wrong. And they were together, what, 7 years, right?
8 years. Married for 7.
So they're together for 8 years, married for 7. He hasn't been angry. He hasn't done nothing to concern her. She's got no concern for almost a decade. And this bitch is still holding on to this money. So, yeah, I'm not surprised he was crying and felt like she hurt him on every level. I feel what the brother's saying. Go on. But I will also admit that I would tell my daughter to protect herself and put some money aside for herself.
You know what?
I'll admit that. But I think at some point, when this man is there struggling, he should have been like they got this little squirrel hole and help the two of you out. That's what I would do. Go ahead. You talk.
Okay. I think you fixed it in the end. Culturally, okay, mothers, grandmothers, auntie them, older female cousins will typically sit down the younger generation and tell her about protecting herself before she gets married, right? Especially when you have women that are in a traditional setting. It's not one of these modern relationships where I work, he work, we do 50-50, you know, especially coming from back in the day where women gave up everything in order for them to be married.
Excuse me. Good.
When women gave up everything in order to be married. So let's say you went to college, you got your degree, but now, according to her, my husband wants me to be a stay-at-home wife. My husband wants me to take care of the husband, take care of the house, take care of him. We ain't got kids, but if we did, stay-at-home wife, stay-at-home mom. So all of my financial security is wrapped in my husband. If my husband decides at any point in time that he's like, you know what, I'm going to trade you in after 15, 20 years for a younger model, and I'm out, and you have nothing. Women tell their daughters to have a little bit set aside. A little bit. Now, if she's been doing this for 7 years, obviously that little bit has turned into $47,000. But he was also making mid-6 figures. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So I'm assuming, based on that they live good. So that $750 a month, when he's bringing in $6,000 to $7,000, like if she's just taking her 10%, that tithes and offering, and squirreling that away, I don't necessarily see a problem with that. I do, however, see a problem with him working 2 full-time jobs and still Ubering, and he's still, like he said, I need to downsize at this point. I can no longer afford the lifestyle that we have set up for ourselves.
And she says no.
Because this is killing me. I've already come back from an injury. I've had to fight back to get back us to where we were, some regular status quo, and this isn't working anymore, babe. I need help. And she said, nah, I can go to work. Right. Like, forget that. You still work these 2 jobs, these 2 full-time jobs, and you do the Uber, and maybe I could work something part-time and just put a little money in the pot. I think that in itself, just that one part of it, that makes her the asshole. Because there's no scenario where you and I are together, you and I are in this marriage, you and I are in this relationship, and I got your back, you got my back. Am I going to sit by and watch you kill yourself to try and keep us afloat, knowing that I have a nest egg that can alleviate some of that stress? Mm. Whatever it is, the same way that I made this house a home over 7 years, I could do that again. We don't need to have this 500 square foot villa in the south of France. If we need to move to an apartment, if we need to move to a smaller house, if we need to move into a cottage, what's most important is you and me and our marriage and our relationship, because I want to have you for the next 50 years. I don't want you to be stressed the hell out and now I done lost you over 5 years because you didn't had a heart attack, you didn't had a stroke because you're killing yourself to try and keep us in a pretty house.
I mean, it's so short-sighted, you know, because it's like, because of her listening to her a-hole mother, now she got her husband anyway.
Mm. So
now she has to go to work anyway.
Mm.
You know, that 47,000.
That's gonna go by real quick.
They ain't gonna last. They ain't gonna last at all. You know,
No.
by the time you find somebody yourself, you sell somewhere to live, something to drive, and you go about your business, that's gonna be depleted. So she should have been thinking about these things from before, and be thinking like a couple, rather than thinking like, you're looking after me and I'm looking after me.
Mm. So her rainy day fund ended up being a self-fulfilling prophecy.
That happens too often because we need to take responsibility for what we do, ladies. You cannot be thinking that, oh, let me just sit back and worry about myself and let him worry about us. Because it's crazy. It's like this idea of putting yourself in a situation where you're finding a man who's making 6 figures in order for you to start taking from that man, puts you in a subordinate position. Automatically, off the rip. Like, that is not a game plan. Not for longevity, not for something where, you know, you're living a better life, a good life. Not one where, you know, you can call shots in your own lifestyle. No. What you're putting yourself in a situation where he now tells you what you can do. I think it's very weird, like the world we live in, where we're going to listen to our, like, for example, with me, my first wife, like, she's Ghanaian. So her mum is a traditional Ghanaian woman. So her mum's advice to my ex-wife was, he's gonna abuse you. That's what she kept telling her. So she said to me, my mum told me you're gonna hit me. My mum told me you're gonna smack me up or whatever. So I never smacked this woman. But in the end, she broke up with me and she told the courts that the reason why is because she believed that I was going to beat her. And she believed that I was going to do the same thing to the boys. Now, I'm like, nothing's happened yet. There was one point where I had bought some toys and clothes for the boys at the house. And she said to the court, oh yeah, he needs to have an injunction because he knows where I live. And he was showing me he knows where I live. And I was like,
but I lived here. This was our home.
Like, what did I do? Did I actually hit you? No. So why are we talking about this for? Why is this even an issue? Because her mother was the a-hole who told her to watch out because this man is going to do that. He's a Caribbean, so he's going to do that. You see, these are kind of foolishness. Like, we take bad advice from bitter people who've had a hard life in the past, and then we insert that business into our relationship and then wonder why our relationship doesn't work. We can't allow that. And you can't allow yourself you can't put yourself willingly, allow your parents to willingly put you in a subordinate position to find a way out of it. You know, scratch and steal in order to get what you want. Why are you doing it to yourself? You're a grown woman with grown woman needs and dreams and issues. Invest in yourself in having a marketable skill so that you can look out for yourself if anything was to happen. I don't mean become a nurse. I don't mean, something like that. I mean something that's actually worth money. That's my suggestion.
Nurses make good money.
No, not when you first start. When you're just emptying bedpans and things, that's not good money, surely.
Nurses make like $50 an hour. Yeah, and they don't do bedpans. The bedpans are for like a certified nurse's assistant. Like, they got peons to do that. Okay. But I understand what you're saying.
The point isn't the job, okay? We're losing the track of what I'm saying. Oh, Lord Jesus.
I get you.
Okay.
I get you. It's not lost in translation. I understand what you're saying. So obviously we've covered a lot of ground today. We want to hear what you think. We want to hear what side of the fence that that you find yourself on this debate. Thank you for joining us this week, as always, so that we can have these discussions that are very important within our relationship, so we can actually find ourselves back to one another.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So like and subscribe to this channel.
And share. Share
it, tell your brethren, tell your sisterins. Email us. This email address right here. Boom. So you can tell us what is going on with you. You want some advice from your Uncle Marley and your Auntie Shay. We're here for you as well, all right? Okay, so next time.
Peace.